Entertainment Soldier here, and I am back to talk about Star Trek Starfleet Academy Season 1, Episodes 1 and 2, and my thoughts on these episodes. So, we are back with a new Star Trek show. And not just any Star Trek show, the show Kurtzman forced through that made it impossible, apparently, for Paramount not to go forward with Star Trek Legacy, a show created by a creator who managed to make a good season of Picard, managed to get a majority of the Star Trek fans back and happy. This was the show Paramount decided to go with. Was that a good choice? Was it a mistake? And do I think this show has a future? Well, I am 50-50. Do I think this series is going to make it past season 2? No. No, I don't think it's going to happen. I think enough fans are pissed off with Star Trek still. I also do not think Kurtzman doesn't have that much pull at Paramount anymore, especially since the sale. So, no, I don't think it gets past season 2. But do I like these two episodes? Yes and no. The first episode is shit. Okay, it is shit. Not complete shit, but it's enough of the Kurtzman Trek shit that I just didn't need to see. There was a woke scene in the first part of the episode which was ridiculous and just over the top at certain points. The Chancellor, because we don't have a captain anymore, we have a Chancellor, her character is literally just a hippie captain. That's what she is. It's fucking annoying. And the way she is sitting in those chairs is getting just absolutely fucking annoying. And how she just is also just annoying. She is just a hippie fucking teacher. That's her fucking character. But the second episode, and I can't believe these words are coming out of my fucking mouth, felt like a Star Trek episode. Now, people are going to probably wondering, what the fuck entertainment? This is fucking Kurtzman Trek. That can't be real. Look, I am as gobsmacked as anybody else. It felt like a fucking Star Trek episode. Was there stupid shit in it? Yes. Annoyingly, this is still Kurtzman Trek. It's always going to be there until that son of a bitch is fired, and hopefully this will be the last year we have to deal with him if everything goes the way it should do. Hopefully, who knows, but that's not what we're here to talk about. See, the episode 2 was a Star Trek episode. It really was. It had a good story. It had good debates into it. You could see both sides of the conversation. It wasn't just forcing you to pick one side, which is amazing for a fucking Kurtzman episode. And the characters did grow on me. Especially the new character from Beta Z. She was an interesting character. I'm fucking shocked. I was hoping to hate this show. Okay? Because I am one of those fans who's pissed that we get Star Trek Academy and not Star Trek Legacy, which I think would have been the smarter choice for Paramount to go with, since the guy who was trying to make it was the guy who gave you a successful third season of Picard. So why you wouldn't go with him and go with Kurtzman, who has done nothing but destroy Star Trek and piss off the majority of the fucking Star Trek fan base, I have no idea. But I gotta be fair in my review. The second episode was a good episode. Now, there are a lot of bad things in this episode. A lot of bad things in these two episodes. Stephen Colbert, being the computer guy, gets annoying pretty fucking fast. Then the Doctor, who's also in this show now, Picardo, Yeah, I didn't realise how annoying he was, mainly because in Star Trek Voyager they did call that shit out, whereas here I think it's going to get a lot worse. They are not going to pull him back as much as they did in Voyager. And that stupid fucking tweet from Picardo. Big mistake, dude. Big fucking mistake. The Star Trek fans are not in the fucking mood to be told what Star Trek is. Especially from somebody who is working with Kurtzman. So shut the fuck up, Picardo. I'm not in the mood for you to tell me what the fuck Star Trek is. Or for you to defend woke. Or to say, woke's always been in Star Trek. Shut the fuck up. Yes, Star Trek has been progressive. There is no denying that. But Star Trek has never been about telling people how to act or what to believe or any of that. It has always been make your own decision. And that is what is good about Star Trek, or what it used to be good about Star Trek. And what the second episode kind of did do. It gave you both sides of an argument and it let you make the choice. And yes, the outcome was obvious in the second episode, but it was interesting to see the arguments, which we rarely get from Star Trek. Star Trek, Kurtzman Trek, whatever. Now, the other annoying things in this show, well, it is some of the acting, especially from the half Klingon, half Jem'Hadar character. Lara Frook, I think her name is. Yeah, her acting is over the top. And it does get annoying in the first episode. Now, is she completely annoying? Not really. The second episode, she does out of a military thing or drill, and it was kind of funny. I have to admit that. So, look, I am kind of surprised. Listen, all cards on the table. I was fully coming into this show hating it. I didn't want to like any of the characters. I wanted to call this show complete fucking garbage and just rip into it. I really did. I hate we got this show. I wish we got Legacy. But it wasn't woke. Or at least it wasn't that woke. There are parts. There are parts of Kurtzman Trek in there. There are parts that are woke. But it is entertaining at parts of it. And it feels like maybe the people writing this show kind of understand that a Star Trek base is important. Now, don't get me wrong, this show is not made for Star Trek fans. At least the majority of it isn't. It's predominantly Gen Z, predominantly kids that in their 20s. This show is that's the target audience. And I have to acknowledge that. But for a Star Trek fan, there are parts you can enjoy. Again, the second episode is the only reason I am not calling this complete dog shit. Okay? But, yeah. We've also got to talk about the amount of money that they spent on this series. It looks like they put a decent amount into it. A lot of new sets. CGI is on point. I have to give them that. I do not like the design of the Athena. I think it's shit. I have never liked the nacelles not being attached to the saucer. I think it's ridiculous design for ships, personally. And yeah, but I did find it interesting with what else that ship is. I don't know if I can go into that sort of spoilers about it, but it's also a school, and it does some sort of transformation. But I'll go into that in the spoiler section, which I thought was interesting, and it was a good scene to watch. The majority of the cast are okay. Caleb, the lead character, the guy on the left there, he's fine. I wouldn't call him a Mary Sue kind of character. He does have flaws. He does fuck up. Other characters like Genesis on the right there, she's also an okay character. Doesn't seem to want to force an opinion on you. Seems like she can be professional at some points. Dialogue is an issue in this show with the swearing bullshit. I get fucking sick of that. I thought, listen, I'm always going to get... That shit just pisses me off, okay? This is supposed to be Star Trek. They're supposed to be adults. And yes, adults do use bad language. I understand that. But Star Trek, again, is a show that's supposed to say humanity had grown up. We'd moved past that. That's why you don't see Data in The Next Generation calling everybody a cunt. Or Picard's telling Wesley to shut the fuck up. You know? They're supposed to be adults. And yes, these are kids. And yes, I get that. But again, you don't need to say a bunch of swear words every fucking episode. Okay? Be fucking professional. And yes, I know when I say this is supposed to be professionals, Starfleet officers, or at least potential Starfleet officers, and there are stupid scenes, especially one scene where a cadet apparently swallows a badge. Yes, it is a stupid fucking scene, and don't get me started on the fucking comedy in the show. It is fucking annoying. I don't like the comedy in Kurtzman Trek. I never have. It is really, really shit. And in Star Trek Academy, it ain't fucking changed. But overall, the majority of the cast is okay. Look, we've got a bunch more episodes to go. I don't know what Kurtzman's got in for us, or what the writers have. There could be woke as fuck episodes up ahead. I have no doubt there possibly could. But for me, it is a good start. The second episode does a lot of work. Absolutely does a lot of work, and is the only reason I am not saying this series is total shit so far. But there's always that potential. There's always that potential. So what would I give both episodes out of 10? Look, the first episode is not great, but it's also not awful at the same time. So I'm going to be really fucking fair. 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10, that's as high as I'm going to go with it. Again, the problem with the first scene and why Nalia is, you know, so annoying in that episode really just pisses me off. But that doesn't do as much damage, and yeah, 5 out of 10. Second episode, I will give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's a good episode. It was close to a Star Trek episode. I think I should pull back a little bit. There are some problems in it, but overall it did feel at least a little bit like a Star Trek episode. I'm trying to kind of pull it back because I think I'm being a bit too generous now. But again, I enjoyed the episode. I did. I wasn't bored. I was entertained at some points. The only times I wasn't entertained was when Chancellor Nalia was on screen doing something stupid. But that doesn't destroy the episode for me. I've been through enough fucking bad shows just to have one bad character. I can deal with it. So 7 out of 10. Let's get to spoilers now. If you don't want to hear spoilers, leave in 3, 2, 1. So, first episode. The episode starts off with a mother and child in what looks like a prison cell. And the mother is trying to explain to her kid what's happening. So it looks like this woman has become a pirate and is trying to explain to her child that things are probably going to change and they're probably going to get separated. So a bunch of guards come in. Now I was thinking that this was like some sort of like gangster group or some enemy group. Turns out no, she has been imprisoned by Starfleet. Now I should talk about how this story is kind of framed out at the beginning, because at the beginning we do get the mention of the burn and how, you know, that did serious damage to the Federation. Listen, if you watch Star Trek Discovery, you know what the fucking burn is. For me, the burn is the most ridiculous plot hole in Kurtzman Trek, especially because dilithium crystals blow up and destroy most of the Star Trek fleet doesn't mean it destroys the universe, because not every fucking ship in the Star Trek universe runs off dilithium crystals. The Romulan fleet would have been perfectly fine. So how their entire civilization was destroyed also doesn't fucking make sense. Again, the burn has so many fucking plot holes in it. It is fucking ridiculous. Especially when if you wanted to do some kind of, ending warp travel in Star Trek to show why a Federation would fall apart. There is literally an episode of Voyager that gives you a fucking weapon that could have been used, and it makes perfect sense, and Star Trek has already developed this kind of fucking weapon. It annoys me the fucking writers do not know shit about Star Trek, because any Star Trek fan would have known about the fact kyber crystals are not the only fucking form of travel in Star Trek. So, sorry, just had to get the burn shit out of the way. So, yes, what was on? Oh yeah, mother child in a prison turns out to be controlled by the Federation. She is then brought to court where Captain Nalia is the judge in this trial. Now another character gets brought in, and his name is called Nas Bracca, and he is apparently the head pirate who apparently forced, or at least that's what the mother is saying, her to become a pirate and to rob a Federation shuttle of its food. And it turns out in this attack, a Federation officer was killed, and now Nalia has to charge the mother and Bracca with the killing of a Starfleet officer. Now, apparently, Nalia made some sort of deal with the mother, and, well, she looks like Starfleet has overrided her, and the mother is going to be sent to prison and not to be let off, apparently. I don't fully know what the agreement was, but the mother is not happy with this deal, says that Nalia lied to her and to tell her son not to trust the Federation. Now, why do I consider this scene woke? I should mention Bracca also gets charged and just tells... I should mention the mother is the mother of Caleb, the lead character. This is him as a child. That's his mother. And Bracca just tells Caleb, don't trust the Federation. The Federation are evil. Keep that hate inside you, blah, 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 blah. But he gets dragged off, and the mother gets dragged off. And now Nalia has to kind of explain to the child what's going to happen to him. Which is basically he's going to be taken to a, I don't know, carer on a planet. I think it was Bajor, she said. And that he'll grow up happy and healthy and there's enough food there. Because if you remember in the burn, apparently every planet has run out of food, apparently. Which, again, doesn't make sense. But anyway, so Nalia then leaves this child in the room on his own. Turns out Caleb managed to steal Nalia's comm badge and has managed to escape the facility. Smart fucking kid. And then Nalia, well, tells everybody to go look for him, but then we go to the credits, and 15 years later, we are back with... hold on, I didn't explain why I thought this scene was woke. Yeah, sorry. The reason I think this scene is woke, because Nalia seems to keep trying to explain away the mother's involvement with somebody's death. Now, I get it. She can't, she's hungry, she needs to get food to feed herself and her son. She got, pushed into this by, Bracca, who's a pirate, and, it's a terrible situation. I get it. But there should be consequences for somebody if somebody else dies. A Starfleet officer is dead, and the mother is the cause of it. Now, you can make any excuse you want about what happened and why it happened, but at the end of the day, the ends don't justify the means. I mean, whatever. Again, somebody is dead, Nalia. Somebody lost their daughter or their son from somebody killing them or causing their death. And yes, it's not great that you have to take a mother from her child, but she did something wrong. And throughout this fucking first episode, all Nalia can seem to do is just curse out the Federation from taking a son from his mother. But there's a reason, you fucking hippie cunt. She killed somebody. She has to pay the consequences of her own fucking actions. This scene really pissed me off. And it's just this really stupid progressive left thing about, kids, being separated from their kid. I mean, parents being separated from their kid. If a mother does something wrong, like causes the death of somebody, guess what? She needs to go to prison. And I don't think you should put a kid in prison. So you have to separate them. And she curses out the Federation for literally doing the right thing here. I get she's not happy about it. But again, don't break the fucking law. But anyway. So, next scene, 15 years later, Caleb is 20. He has apparently been captured by some pirates or some law enforcement, and they're taken into a prison. He then manages to get out of his cuffs, has a fight with a bunch of them, manages to shut off a force field by using somebody's head to somehow break it. Don't know how that works with a force field, but there you go. And knocks out the pilot. Then the ship heads down into the atmosphere, crashes a little bit, and Caleb manages to get control, but is then captured by the prison and is now being held by these people. I didn't catch the name, sorry. We then go to Bajor, where we meet back up with Nalia, who is having, some sort of talk with some kids about ice cream. She then, sees the Admiral from Star Trek Discovery. He turns back up and offers Nalia the job of being Chancellor of the new Starfleet Academy. Now, at first, Nalia disagrees with this and says that she is still pissed at the Federation because of the Federation forcing her to separate a criminal and her child, and still doesn't feel that Starfleet's for her. But we then get this annoying scene of grovelling from the Admiral, which is, oh my god, you were so right. Oh, Starfleet, we were so evil for doing that. Oh my god, how can we apologise even more, Nalia? How can we? Oh, can I kiss your ass as well? Like, fuck off. Fuck right off. If that was fucking been me, I would have called her out for it. I would have said, look, she broke the law and you can't put a child in prison who hasn't done anything. The mother got what she deserved, and we had a duty to respect the fucking law. That scene just pissed me off. But no, we got the grovelling scene of, oh, you're so right, Nalia. Oh, good. Oh, well, Federation's so bad. Fuck off. But yeah, apparently that gets to her heart, and oh, she feels so good now that somebody said that she was right. But the clinch for her to take the job was basically the Admiral telling Nalia they found Caleb. So she gets sent to go get him. She gets to the prison cell, tells the guards to take off a face mask that he had on and his cuffs, where both of them kind of have a conversation about what happened 15 years ago, about his mother, blah, 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 blah. And she pretty much tells him, look, if you come and join Starfleet, I'll help you find your mother, and it's better than trying to escape from prison again. So he reluctantly agrees. They head on a shuttle to USS Athena, which is the Academy ship. They land on it. He then starts moaning and saying, oh, I'm not going to cut my hair. Oh, I'm not going to wear a Starfleet uniform. Just moaning all the fucking time. And you got Nalia saying, listen, hey, you're going to have a great time at school, son. It does feel like a mother-son relationship they're really trying to push here with them two. I mean, I get it, but, okay, kind of pushing it a bit much. I get it, but still. You also hear the first dialogue of Stephen Colbert, who is the computer for the Academy, not the ship. I should point that out. He is the computer voice for the Academy computers, not the Athena's main computers. Again, every time you hear his voice, he's saying something annoying, and it doesn't ever fucking stop. We then get introduced to other members of the cast. The first person we meet up with is Laura Fruk, I think her name is, the half Klingon, half Jem'Hadar character. And whilst Kayla's being a prick, she tells him to get down and give her about 200 press-ups. She then calls over a random Klingon who turns out to be, what's his name? Jaydan, or Jaydan, whatever the fuck. And that's the Klingon character, or main character of the season, who's apparently gay. I did see an interview with him saying that is what his character is. Also, problem with his voice. Why does he sound like a moron? Klingons do sound normal. This makes no sense. It does sound like Kurtzman is trying to bring back certain parts of the Klingorks, and the voice is definitely from the Klingork time. Kurtzman, it didn't fucking work. Move the fuck on, you deluded cunt. Anyway, so Lara Rook tells the Klingon to put his bag on Caleb's back to make it harder for him to do press-ups. And Nalia asks the Klingon, like, what's he trying to study? He said he's trying to study sciences and shit. Lara Hook says, why aren't you studying like battle formations and shit? Like, basically, why aren't you studying Klingon shit? And he says he doesn't want to be that type of Klingon, basically. He wants to be a different type of Klingon, which is probably going to get worse over time. Oh, God. By the way, Kurtzman, you still haven't explained to us about the Klingons. Are they in the Federation? Is there a Klingon Empire anymore? 5 seasons, well, 3 seasons of Discovery in the future, and you didn't explain a goddamn thing about the universe as a whole. Jesus, 3 seasons, and he still didn't do that. We still don't know about the majority of the races in Star Trek, because that prick doesn't know how to write Star Trek. It pisses me off. Again, are the Klingons a part of the Federation? Is this guy just coming over because, you know, the Klingons are just racist or something? Who the fuck knows? Again, Kurtzman really fucked up this universe, made a shit future universe, and now we have to deal with it. It pisses me off. So, after that scene, both cadets head through a transporter where Caleb is then given a shave and a new uniform. Turns out, hey, he can wear a Starfleet uniform without being a bitch. He then bumps into, well, we then go to another scene where we are introduced to Sam. Now, Sam is a hologram. She has only been activated for 7 months and has been sent by a enclave of photonics, and they wanted to experience life as a teenager, and that's the body and that's the person they choose. I mean, okay. She is very awkward. She's basically saying a bunch of weird things to people. I mean, you can see what she's doing. She's trying to make friends. She's saying a bunch of shit, and yeah, it's kind of awkward, but you can understand it. I mean, she's only been alive for 7 months, so she's obviously not going to be, you know, quick. But we then get introduced to another new character, Genesis, who helps her out, basically, and says, yeah, why don't we head down here and you can stop being a weirdo, basically. We find out a little bit of information about Genesis. She's apparently a Starfleet child. Her father's just been keeping her on ships for most of her life, so she understands this world, and, you know, that's great and all that. Didn't get anything woke from her. She seems like an okay character. Yeah, she could say a bunch of swear words and it is annoying, but so far, through the 2 episodes, she's an alright character. I will give them that. We then get a scene. Well, next scene is basically the Klingon walks past some guy. Well, he bumps into Sam. He drops his binoculars, Klingon binoculars, and this guy called Darim or whatever starts to take the piss. Takes his binoculars and does the whole I pretend to give you your stuff back and just put it away type shit. Basically, you know, like a bully scene. And now the Klingon's been very calm, so just to make sure that we completely understand, this guy is not a normal Klingon. Trust me, we've seen the interviews. We get it. We really fucking get what he is. A Klingon who goes against the grain. Oh, we have never seen that before in Star Trek. Worf. Fuck's sake, man. But anyway, yeah, so he's taking the piss. Caleb turns up and basically says, give him back his binoculars. It's then revealed this guy is not human. He is a Chironian, I think is what he said. And yeah, he's not going to take any shit from Caleb, and Caleb's not going to take any shit from him. It looks like it's going to be a fight. But then the Doctor turns up and says some cringy shit. Oh my god, it looks like your levels of stress are up, blah, 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 blah. And everybody just runs for it. Caleb then hands him his binoculars and says, thank you for the help. And yeah, they're now buddies now. We then get another scene where the Doctor's giving everybody their injections. We find out Caleb has worms, apparently, but the Doctor manages to cure him of that. The next person behind Caleb is this very weird character who apparently has swallowed her comm badge. And the Doctor says, this early? I mean, what the fuck, dude? What do you mean this early? What are you expecting? Starfleet cadets who are supposed to be Starfleet officers eventually, that they swallow their badges on a regular occurrence, sorry? Are you serious? These are supposed to be the best of the fucking best. The people who are going to be on Federation ships. Potentially one day Starfleet captains. And this bitch is swallowing fucking comm badges. And by the way, how the fuck do you swallow your comm badge? How does that happen? When it doesn't sound like you're a fucking retard at that point. My god, it was a stupid fucking scene. Yes, I get what they put in there for. It was for comedy. It was stupid. Shouldn't have been done. So the Athena heads off back to Earth. We get this stupid speech from fucking Nalia, who is Chancellor, not Captain. And she tells them all... Well, she gives a Jordan Peterson speech. You know, make your bed and get up early kind of thing. And that was pretty strange. Like, really? We're given that sort of speech? I thought it was wrong to tell children what to do. I thought it was wrong to tell 20-year-olds to make their bed and to be punctual. I thought everybody needs to be respected. That time was racist. Very confusing, Kurtzman Trek. Very confusing. But she gives a speech. We get introduced to the members of the bridge. I didn't remember any of them because, again, this is Kurtzman Trek, and trust me, you are probably never going to see those characters again. And if you do, they're always going to be in background. So I'm not going to go through their names because I just don't care. So the Athena heads off. We then see a scene of Caleb trying to, you know, find his mother, looking to, creating, well, he hacks into the communications of the Athena, and in the first scene they were discussing a secret communication that they have with each other, or a secret code so that they can communicate if something happens. He uses that secret code without the authority of Chancellor Nala, and yes, somebody else was listening, not his mother. So whilst the ship is en route to the Federation, it detects a mysterious anomaly. So Nathina decides to check it out. So the ship heads that way. When they get there, it turns out to be a trap. A bunch of cloaked mines go off, start infecting the ship with this nano shit, and completely nullifies the Athena's weapons and transporter and other systems as well. And it turns out it was a trap set by Nas Bracca, and he is here to steal the warp drive of the Athena. If you don't know this, Star Trek Discovery kind of set out that, warp drives are now like billion-dollar things to steal, because not everybody has the new type of special warp drives. The Federation is trying to send them out, and the last time I checked, they were still very rare. So stealing one of these is very, very valuable. So that's what Braca is here for. Chancellor Nalia tells the communication officer to send out an SOS to Starfleet. We do hear that Discovery is in the area, but it will take too long for them to get there, and other Federation ships, so they're on their own, basically. So Braca tells the captain he tells Chancellor he knows that Starfleet's not going to get there in time, and for her to cooperate and hand over the warp drive. She does ask, is he also here for Caleb? But he says, nope, I'm only here for the warp drive. But he says, I can tell that you've pretty much forced him in a uniform and you're a fascist, basically. Which is kind of funny. We then get to the next scene where Caleb and a bunch of crewmen that have managed to survive the attack, because because of the attack a bunch of things exploded and there was a lot of casualties and the doctor's trying to deal with them, blah blah blah. Caleb finds Lara Rook, whatever the fuck she's called. She has been seriously injured and she needs medical attention, so the Klingon and Sammy take her to the infirmary. They get there. Sam tries to. There's a bunch of these stupid scenes where Sam's trying to be funny, and Lara is also trying to be like this really dedicated Klingon who doesn't want to die on her back. She wants to die on her feet, and blah 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 blah. It wasn't that funny. It was really over the fucking top. But there was a little bit of a funny scene where Sam's just trying to be this like really nice, happy person, and Lara Frook just grabs her and says, I don't need my doctor to be laughing, I need her to be... I just thought it was funny. That's the one time I fucking laughed. Genuinely laughed. But yeah, they save her, and yeah, she's fine. Caleb figures out a way to nullify the nanites that are on the ship to get weapons back. But he needs somebody to find out the code or the nanites, but you have to go out on the bridge, on the hold of the ship, make connection with the nanites, and send him a code to find out what their access number is, whatever the fuck it was called. And they don't have access to spacesuits because they need to have an officer with them to do that. So the guy, Darom, who's a Korean or whatever the fuck he is called, his species can apparently survive in the vast space. He doesn't need oxygen for at least 8 minutes, so he can go out there and make connection with the nanites. Genesis goes with him. He heads out, shows his face. Turns out he's actually blue. He heads out on the hole, makes connection with the nanites, but it's taken too long and he's starting to lose consciousness. Genesis also realizes she needs to get him back because he's going to die, but can't access the computer because she needs a teacher with her. So she calls up the doctor. Doctor comes in, gives her access. She has to run to another terminal that has access to the, what was it? Not transporter, tractor beam to pull him back in. So she does that, gets him. He manages to find the code, sends it to Caleb. He then manages to deactivate the nanites. The ship gets his weapons back. But before Chancellor Nara fires on the ship, she decides to fool Braca by getting him to pull back his crew by saying that the warp drive is about to explode. He falls for it, gets all of his crew to beam back to the ship, but he sees through this, manages to find Caleb, and they have a big fight with each other, and he just escapes after seeing his ship get blown up by Nara, who fires a shipload of torpedoes at his ship, destroys it, kills his crew, but he manages to escape on a escape pod, and yeah, that's how that ends. So Caleb saves the ship, but it turns out Braca was able to find the Athena because he sent out that message to his mother, and Braca was the one who intercepted it, and he is the reason that Braca attacked the ship. So Nalia does tell him he's going to get punished for this, and he thinks to be chucked out of Starfleet, but she says nope. He will take the punishment of, working or cleaning shit. I don't really remember what it was. He does get punished, but she doesn't want to throw him out. She wants him to stay in Starfleet and to hopefully pass Starfleet Academy. So the Athena makes it to Earth. They then transform the ship into a school. And you get this scene where the nacelles come off and the saucer section lands on the planet, and the episode ends with everybody happy to see Earth and blah blah blah. So that's the end of episode 1. Again, it is the worst of the 2 episodes, but look, there were some good scenes. I did enjoy the fight scene between Caleb and Braca. The only annoying scenes in the episode were mainly the woke shit, the comm bag being swallowed, and Nalia, sitting like a fucking moron. Again, I didn't mention the chair thing, but every time she sits on the chair, apparently there's some interview where she feels like a cat sitting in that chair, so she sits like a fucking cat. I don't know why she wants to do that, but that's what she wants to do. I think it's ridiculous. Anyway, on to episode 2. So episode 2 starts off with us being informed that Starfleet Academy is going to be the place where Starfleet is going to do the negotiations for the Betazoids rejoining Starfleet, or at least trying to see if they can, or at least have talks on if they want to come back. So the Admiral has decided to use Starfleet Academy to show this, to have this conversation with the Betazoids, because he wants to show the future of Starfleet to the Betazoid president, because he is also getting pushback from his young people in Betazoid Prime, because they want to turn off their walls and go explore the universe. But Betazoid apparently had a very bad time in the burn. Apparently the Federation abandoned them, and they were attacked constantly by pirates and raiders, and it was a very bad time for them. So they're not completely trusting of the Federation anymore. They do not want to be left out in the cold again. So you can kind of see that the Federation is in a very bad situation with them. But the president of BayZ is getting pushback, so he has to at least explore the possibility of rejoining the Federation. So Nalia has been asked to help in this with using the cadets to show the future of Starfleet and to show the Federation are back to being the good guys and not the people who are going to abandon BetaZ again, which is going to be difficult to prove. But also at the same time, we are introduced to the other training school of Starfleet, which is the War College. Apparently this is what took over from Starfleet Academy when it fell, or when it was abandoned. So that's where they've been training most of their officers. But it still exists, but it's now a 50-50 split between them. So you can either go to the War College, or you can go to Starfleet Academy now to become a Starfleet officer. And they're introduced to their head person, I didn't catch his name. And yeah, great, fantastic. You get another speech from Nalia about, wash your teeth, clean your, make your bed, blah, 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 blah. All that normal shit. So Caleb is still trying to find his mother, because Bracken told him where his mother was last located. He goes and tells Nalia about it. Nalia does have some concerns, like, what if he was lying? Is this thing real? She gives him a chance to go look into the Federation computers to look for the planet that Bracken told him she was. Turns out Starfleet records don't have it. So he's kind of pissed off. He goes into this lesson where we're reintroduced to Jax Roman, or whatever the fuck she's called. The Federation, the Discovery head of engineering woman, the comedian apparently. She's also in this show for some reason, and pretty much calls out Caleb and embarrasses him, and he gets pissed off and tries to run away, where he is then introduced to this random woman who is called Tarama, and she is from Beta Z, because she can then sense his emotions and all that shit. They have a nice conversation with each other, and then she walks away. He is then late for the welcoming service for the Beta Z president. The Beta Z president is deaf, but has a thing on his neck that speaks for him whilst he does sign language. I know some people are going to say this is Star Trek, shouldn't there not be any more deaf people? I'm not really going to hit it that hard. I don't really care. Look, they want to show a deaf person's in a leadership role. Yeah, it's a little bit woke, but I'm pretty fine with it. You know, I've not got really that much problem with it. Anyway, so he explains to Starfleet, here's what I want to rejoin the Federation, which is basically he wants a bunch of ships to be in range of Beta Z to protect it from any raiders. He wants a lot of seats on the Federation Council, and he wants to have a veto on anybody joining the Federation. Now, the Admiral is completely against this because Starfleet is not like that. They don't think anybody should have that much control over the Federation. But the Beta Z president is not exactly taking any bullshit from the Federation because of the history between them, especially after the burn. And he is not going to budge on any of it. And the Admiral now kind of realizes, yeah, this guy's not here to accept he's not going to bring back the Beta Z back into the Federation. He's just here to make the Gen Z on his planet happy. That say, look, I tried, I gave them an offer, they didn't accept it, and that's what he's here for, just to please them. We also find out that Tarama is the daughter of the president, and Caleb's apparently gotten in there, so that's great. He does some stupid thing with his zipper to piss off the doctor. It's not that funny, but it's kind of funny. But anyway, so the children of the president, Tarama, ask to get a tour of the academy. Nalia agrees, but Tamara wants Caleb to be the guide. Nalia doesn't want to do that because he's kind of a fuck up at this point, and he's been kind of screwing around with the computers of the academy. So yeah, this is kind of an important thing. I don't want to piss off the Betazoid, so she doesn't want to do that, but Tamara kind of forces the issue, and she reluctantly agrees. And then Caleb decides to use this as a way to kind of push the Chancellor to give him access to more of the computers. She agrees, and he then gives her a tour. They get this kind of lovey-dovey scenes with each other. They go see a whale and all that shit, and yeah. We then go back to the Betazoidian president, and they're having a cocktail party with the Doctor singing fucking Mozart shit. That is getting annoying as well. Again, look, the Doctor's a good character, but in Voyager they kind of knew when to cut him off, and there was a kind of balance with the Doctor and the other crew who managed to, shut that shit down fast. In this show, I kind of think they're going to let Doctor go a bit too wild, and it is going to get really, really annoying really, really quick. So let's hope they don't go too nuts with the Doctor. Anyway, so he's singing German shit, and in the meeting between the Admiral, the Chancellor, and the President brings up, why he doesn't think he should rejoin the Federation. He reminds them all about, how dangerous it's been since the burn, and then kind of questions Nalia about, bringing Caleb into the Starfleet Academy. He's a criminal, and she kind of brings up, well, he did commit a bunch of crimes, but he didn't do it in the Federation, so it's not really a problem. And she then starts to kind of question him and say, why are you so angry at the world? Why are you building so many walls? Your people used to be these lovely people. I remember them. And he kind of calls her out. This is a scene I liked. He reminds her what happened to Beta Z after the burn. How they were attacked, how they were abandoned by the Federation, and he doesn't like the fact that she is questioning his history of his own people. And I love that scene because, look, it gave both sides of the argument, which is rare for Kurtzman Trek. And it was a really good scene. But at this point, there's like an argument between Caleb and Taramina, and it turns out Caleb had lied to Talia about why he wanted to become closer to her. She finds out he was looking for his mother. She questions him about it, and he calls her out for being this princess basically, and they have a fight about it. But this apparently pisses off the president, who says, "Okay, no more negotiation. Beta says not rejoin the Federation. Go fuck yourself." He heads back. Before they leave, Caleb gets back to Taramina and tells her, "I'm sorry what I said. I didn't mean to insult you. I do like you. I do want to be friends." And Beta says to come back to the Federation. And apparently this is enough to get the president, to get the daughter to say, "Hey, Dad, can we rejoin Beta Z? Can we rejoin the Federation?" He agrees. And the Federation decides to use this opportunity to also award Beta Z as the capital of the Federation, where they're going to be at the centre of the new Federation, which I think is a smart plan. And the episode ends with turning out Beta Z does join the Federation, and Talia joins not the Starfleet Academy, not Talia. Taramina doesn't join Starfleet Academy. She joins the War College, which kind of confuses Caleb because he thought they were going on to a good thing. But she does give him some sort of necklace or something, because her brother is now sharing a room with Caleb. And that's how episode 2 ends. I know I rushed through that, but video's getting kind of long. Listen, it was a really good episode. I enjoyed it. It felt like a Star Trek episode. The fact throughout the episode we've got both sides of an argument. Yeah, the lovey-dovey shit was kind of a bit, much. But look, this show is made for Gen Z, and they like that shit, so you can understand why it's there. I did really enjoy this episode. It did feel a lot more like Star Trek than most Kurtzman Trek shit. And look, do I think this is going to be like every episode of the season? No, I have no doubt we're going to get some woke shit. Some episodes that are going to be completely full of plot holes, completely law-breaking, who knows. But so far, this season has not started that badly. So I am surprised. But I do think the rot is too, set into this franchise. I don't think a lot of people are going to give this series a chance. And I don't think it's going to get past season 2, if I'm being honest. Look, great first start. But I do think that we're only getting 2 seasons. But again, first episode 5 out of 10, not great, a bit woke. Second episode 7 out of 10 was a good episode. And a part of me is actually looking forward to next week's episode. But that's my thoughts, that's my review. Let's hear what you think. If you like this video, give it a like. If you dislike this video, give it a dislike. And if you like my content, do feel like subscribing. If you have a comment, leave it below and I'll try to get back to it. Entertainment Soldier, bye.